that you say, the moment requires, is that enough for Republicans to sign on, or will it require some proactive conversations on the part of House Democrats to get them to break ranks with leadership and sign on to this effort?
Well, there certainly haven't been any leadership conversations because Mike Johnson has zero interest in protecting the health care of the American people, and he's repeatedly made that clear. Now, in terms of whether there are conversations member to member between the House Democratic Caucus and members of the House Republican Conference, there certainly have been some informal conversations led by folks like Tom Suozzi, who has floated a 2-year proposal with some modest reforms that we'd have to take a look at. But there's no indication that even that proposal has support from House Republican leadership. These people have zero interest in making life better for everyday Americans. And they repeatedly make that clear. They're in the face of the American people about it. Meanwhile, you got Donald Trump issuing reckless pardons, destroying half of the White House, bailing out Argentina, posting erratically on Thanksgiving. Like, this guy can't even give us a break on Thanksgiving when we're with our families. And the American people have had enough of it. These people have gone way too far. They've broken every single promise that they've had. And so I guess we can always hope that there are a handful of Republicans who will actually do what they said that they would do once their shutdown ended, which is to work with Democrats to find a path forward. But that path right now is an extension of the Affordable Care Act tax credits. I think our discharge petition in record time is now up to about 212, 213. It is my expectation that we will have complete and total unity amongst House Democrats. Thanks.
Thanks, Mr. Leader. You just mentioned how Republicans are getting wiped out across the country. We've seen that in past elections. What's your expectation tomorrow in Tennessee? Do you think that the Democrat there could potentially pull it off, given the polling that we have seen in recent weeks?
Seems to me that it's going to be an unexpectedly close election, a single-digit election. That's shocking. In deep red Tennessee, Mark Green's district. By the way, this is a district literally that Donald Trump just won by 22 points last November. This is not a district that anyone believes should be competitive. No rational person believes this district should be competitive. And yet, it's apparently very competitive. It's going to be a much closer than expected race. Republicans have already lost. The fact that they are spending millions of dollars to hold a seat that Donald Trump just won by 22 points is extraordinary, and more evidence that Republican extremists are completely and totally on the run because they have failed the American people. And it's Democrats who are making the case all over the country that we are actually the ones fighting to lower the high cost of living, fighting to fix our broken health care system, and fighting to clean up the type of corruption that has the American people disgusted. What I don't understand is that Republicans keep doubling and tripling down on their extremism, and it ain't working. They are losing all over the place. Donald Trump's approval rating in the most recent Gallup poll is 36%. 60% of the American people disapprove of this guy. He's a disaster. And now the president and Mike Johnson are holding a rally tonight in Mark Green's district that Trump just won by 22 points because they're scared to death about what could happen. If these people, these extremists, were actually rational, instead of doubling and tripling down on their extremism, continuing to lie to the American people, why don't they just change direction and actually partner with Democrats to solve problems on behalf of the American people. When the Congress convened at the start of the year, we made very clear we'll work with anyone, anytime, any place, new administration, other side of the aisle, to make life better for the American people. But Republicans have refused. They've gone down this my way or the highway approach. And we're not down with that, because we're not going to go along to get along when their policies are hurting the American people.
Leader, wanted to talk to you a little bit about Trump's immigration plan to ban third world citizens. I mean, America, a lot of them are trying to come here to be able to make a better life, and have your thoughts on that, sir.
Yeah, our view is that, one, of course, we support the notion of having strong border security. No one ever disputes that. We have a broken immigration system. We need to fix it, but it should be fixed in a comprehensive and bipartisan way. But at the same period of time, we are going to stand up for law-abiding immigrant families and communities who have been under assault by Donald Trump and the so-called Secretary of Homeland Security. They're a disgrace. We're going to stand up for dreamers. We're going to stand up for farm workers and for farmers who have been crushed by Donald Trump's extreme policies. And in this country, it shouldn't be that complicated, that we are both a nation anchored in the rule of law and a nation of immigrants, a gorgeous mosaic of people from all across the world. It's why we're the envy of the world, because that is one of the ingredients in American exceptionalism. And the American people actually don't want us to lose it, which is why even Donald Trump's immigration policies right now are deeply unpopular and underwater.
The White House is denying that Secretary Hegseth had anything to do with the double tap strikes on alleged Venezuelan drug boats in the Caribbean. A, do you believe that? And B, if he or any other administration officials are found to have been culpable for any war crimes, do you think that Democrats will take any sort of punitive legislative action against them?
The White House is lying, but that's no surprise, because they lie for a living, and the American people know it. It's my understanding that Pete Hegseth, the so-called Secretary of Defense, was absolutely involved. I think he may have even recently acknowledged that, because the facts are incapable of being disputed. And so the question in front of us, and I believe there will be bipartisan investigations in both the House and in the Senate, in order to determine whether war crimes were committed and either U.S. law or international law or both were violated. It's already been crystal clear that Pete Hegseth is the most unqualified Secretary of Defense in American history. I called for him to be terminated months ago when the Signalgate scandal first broke out. Everybody on Capitol Hill knows he should have never been confirmed. It's a shame. It's because these Senate Republicans, just like House Republicans, are nothing more than puppets for Donald Trump's extreme policies. That's why they put Pete Hegseth into that position when they knew he was woefully unqualified. And now we have real evidence that extrajudicial killings are taking place. That's the stain on America's leadership in the free world, which is why our international standing is plummeting. And of course, the standing of the Republican Party is a complete and total disaster here in the United States of America.
Thank you, Leader Jeffries. Following up on immigration, one of the more controversial policies President Trump announced in recent days is his intent to potentially strip citizenship away from anybody he feels isn't a benefit to the United States. I'm just